research, what we know, and what we need to learn. This afternoon, we're going to be focusing on what we're doing and what we need to do. And we're going to spend our first plenary panel today focused on programs that are helping LGBT youth. And we're going to have moderators today who are from Our True Colors, which is an amazing advocacy organization I've known about in Connecticut for at least 20 years, right? They're going to talk a little bit more about the program, but let me introduce them first. First, Sixto Cancel. Sixto, where's he? Sixto is just finished his freshman year at Virginia Commonwealth University. He's a longtime LGBT youth activist and also someone who is active in some issues with foster care since he himself spent time in the foster care system. So please welcome Sixto.
Hello.
Wait, let me introduce one of the two. Okay, I'm going to introduce you both. That's okay. Our other moderator will be Belinda Kwachi. Belinda Kwachi, I was reading her bio. She's an international woman of mystery. She was born in Italy, grew up primarily in Ghana, and is today in Connecticut, where she is. Actually, I think you guys said you're going to Virginia Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's just graduated. He's going to Virginia Commonwealth. I was mistaken. Belinda just finished her first year of college, and she's also been active in True Colors. So please welcome our two moderators this morning, Sixto Cancel and Belinda Kwachi.
Good afternoon. Is everybody excited? Yes. Don't sound like it. So today we have 3 different organizations doing marvelous work in the LGBT community. And we have the East Coast, the Midwest, and the West Coast. Isn't that ironic? So the first I want to start off by just giving a brief overview of these 3 organizations. I'm going to give the mic first to Alan. He's going to give an overview of this organization and just some key message points that he wants to be, heard today.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, my name is Alan Horowitz. I run the Out for Equity program in St. Paul for the St. Paul Public Schools. It's one of just a handful of school-based LGBT programs. And I wanted to, before I got this job, I was an elementary school teacher in the suburbs of New York for many years. And the one thing that I wanted to address is the fact that educational institutions are unique. And there's so different than any other place. And people that have not worked in schools, that come in from the outside, or that interns that I've had, or new employees that have not worked in a school, really have no idea how unique it is. Because as teachers, we have our own little fishbowls, our own little classrooms. We're mostly expressive. We don't have a lot of time to communicate with administrators. And it makes it really challenging. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind. In terms of LGBT issues, what Out for Equity has done for the past 17 years is we offer service and support to LGBT youth. We have in-school support groups. We are in all of the high schools. We do general respect initiatives. We have GSAs. We have a recreation center. That's every Friday night, and some of the youth will eventually address that. The other few points that I wanted to address is when I always talk to staff, I talk about why do we do this? Like, why is this important? And some people say that it affects learning, but I don't think people really understand why that is. I read Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence, and what he talks about is we have this old brain, the amygdala back here, and from the way he describes it, information that comes in from the world through our senses goes here, and then very quickly moves to the frontal lobes where we incorporate new learning with old learning. Well, for those of us that experience trauma, for young LGBT students that are in class, worried that somebody's going to pass a note about them, knowing that somebody's going to might beat them up after school, or even if somebody has a troubling situation at home, this part of the brain, which is the part that is primed to fight or flee, is going to be over-engaged, and the information is not going to move to the place where learning occurs. And so I think to address these affective things, is extremely important. Another issue that's come up in the work that I do is the issue of gender and sexual fluidity. I think it's wonderful that we now, as young people, know words like gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. Back in the day when I was in middle school, a million years ago, it was, we experimented with our sexuality and our gender, and we didn't talk about it, but we tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Well, young people still, it's, natural that they're going to go through this experimental phase, but because all of these conversation to diffuse that, to help them understand that it's a natural process. The other place that that comes into play is with transgender young people. And Minnesota, transgender is a protected class. So if I have a student that's trans, my job is to make all the proper accommodations for them, to let them use separate bathrooms or the same bathrooms, and it's really every situation in that regard is unique. In my opinion, the best thing to do for a young person that is trying to find their place on the gender continuum is to kind of figure it out, you know? Be a boy one day, be a girl the next day, be a boy with a skirt one, you know, and just play around. But in our schools, even as liberal as they are, that's not possible. Because our society is so gender dichotomous that there really isn't an opportunity for young people to be supported, to